this is JJ Barnes, and this is Jonathan McKinney.
Hello.
And you are listening to the WandaVision finale podcast.
We have wine.
We have well-earned wine, I would say.
We are ready.
Because, my gosh, what an emotional roller coaster this finale is. And my God, you want to talk about doing the finale of a TV show? Like, bloody hell. So how do you want to do this then? Because normally we break it into the 4 parts. So Podlovians, you know this by now, but I'm just going to run through it anyway for you. We usually break this into 4 parts. So we talk about the events.
We have animals that make stupid noises.
Every Friday.
Yeah, every Friday.
We talk about the events of the episode. Then we talk about what we liked. Then we talk about what we didn't like. And then we would normally do thoughts and theories. Which actually, to be fair, we can still do thoughts and theories because
we can
the MCU extends beyond the series. So, okay. What I'll say is doing the plot, right?
Okay, yeah, let's do the plot because we can do... so, Podlovian friends, we've discussed the possibility of doing a sort of roundup next Friday because we like to podcast on a Friday evening.
It's our little tradition, we love it.
It's our tradition, we love it. And we've got 1 week in between this and the Falcon Winter Soldier TV show. So it seems like a good opportunity to do...
a whole series conversation.
Yeah, exactly, because I know for a fact that I'm going to have things that... Because I don't think everything is answered well.
No, I agree.
And some of it, I think, is because it leads into other things.
And I think that we should do, in our roundup episode, and we haven't even got onto this one, we should talk about the adverts. Yeah,
well, we can talk about the adverts now as well.
But I think we should...
Certainly the Yo Magic one.
Yeah. But we'll start. So, the plot of the episode, it's going to be a bit tricky, in my opinion, to do a full... Only because there's so much that I'm pretty sure that once we start going down a path, there's bits we're going to forget.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to, like, sort of bump around trying to remember all of the different details. Like, we have got it playing in silent on the screen, but as I say, there's so much.
Okay, so let's just jump in at the start.
Jump in.
See where we lead.
We go straight back to Agatha having the boys on the dog leads. And Wanda wanting to save them. Yeah,
she's like, my magic works out here, biatch.
Yes,
right? Kumba biatch.
Who does not appear in this
Let's
TV
not
show.
get ahead of ourselves.
You're right, okay, carry on. So, kids on dog leads.
Kids on dog leads. Wanda hits Agnes with red magic.
And she absorbs
it. And Wanda's like, oh no, my hand is all rotten. And
yeah, and she
says...
So
she's like, right, I'll hit you with a fucking car.
Yeah, she says, like, I'll take it. She's like, absorb the magic of those who are unworthy. Yeah,
she might as well say, I'm snacking on your magic, bro.
Yeah, she might.
Because she literally is, like, becoming a Norman Bates, like the kid on the island did.
Yeah.
Not Norman Bates, but Norman, like, what's his mother called?
Norma.
Is it really? Norma.
Mm-hmm.
Norma and Norman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That should have been the first clue. Anyway, this is not a psycho podcast.
So, yeah, Wanda throws a car at Agatha.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is fucking brilliant, honestly. I cannot even express. When it started and, like, she just throws the car. I'm like, oh my God, and her little boots are sticking out like from bloody Dorothy.
And even though there's no reason why, didn't you just want them to curl up and then get dragged under?
I really did. I loved that though. That was just a fun touch.
Yeah, it was a fun touch.
So then White Vision rocks up. Is it straight after?
Straight after.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's pretty non-stop. Like, it has to be. There's so much. It's pretty action-packed.
Yeah.
So White Vision rocks up.
He's like, Wanda. And she's like, Vision?
Yeah, and she's all, like, emotional to see him. And, yeah.
He lovingly strokes her face, but then he's not lovingly stroking her face.
Like,
he's getting a good hard grip on her head so he can crush her skull.
Yeah, and he says, oh, they told me you were powerful.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, no. And then Vision rocks up.
So I'm going to say something, because I think there's a 1-2 punch where the name of the woman who created this, right? Because obviously everything in the MCU is ultimately spearheaded by
Feige.
But it's Jacqueline something. We should really know. Podlovians, JJ Barnes, would you just say something while I quickly check? Because I really think
John
we
of the
should
future,
know.
edit this out.
I want to...
No, just...
Jack Schaefer. Jack Schaefer. Now, Jack Schaefer, you say it sounds like a man's name. Because it sounds like Jack.
Jacqueline.
But it's Jacqueline. And we are looking at her.
She looks like a lovely person. Very clever lady.
Very clever. Like
very clever lady.
She's done a very good job. So...
look, she did Olaf's Frozen Adventure.
She did, yeah. And The Hustle with Rebel Wilson, which we haven't watched.
But Olaf's Frozen Adventure, our kids love that.
There you go. And maybe she was the one who got Christoph Beck and the Lopez's in to do the music.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, why did I bring up Jack Schaefer? Jacques.
Probably like...
What? Yeah, probably Jack. What were we talking about?
When Vision rocks up.
Vision rocks up, tries to crush your skull. Yes, the 1-2 punch of... So, when our vision, shall we say?
Yeah.
So we'll delineate
Hex Vision and White Vision.
Hex Vision and White Vision. So when Hex Vision arrives just in the nick of time to save his beloved Wanda,
like barrels into him.
He barrels into him and he's sort of like pushing White Vision's head into the concrete as he sort of flies him through town and then throws him at a truck which then explodes.
It's fucking immense. Honestly, it's going off.
Okay, but
I'm calming down.
It is extremely reminiscent of something that happens in Man of Steel. Right?
Oh, really?
And I think it's deliberate based on something that happens later. And I think it's possibly a little bit of a shade thing.
Right? Oh, God, I love this. Tell me the shade.
Well, the shade comes later. I'll lay the groundwork for the possible shade later. And if people out there, you love Man of Steel, I like Man of Steel very much. So don't think that I'm being a prick. But, this is playful. And I think that's absolutely fine. So in this moment, it's not shade, I don't think. It's just a coincidence. But when General Zod in Man of Steel is threatening Superman's mother,
right.
There's a moment where Superman becomes aware of this because he's Superman, he can hear things that are miles away, and he flies off. And then as General Zod is like, tell me where he is, or whatever, he gets blasted away by Superman, who is then dragging, I think it's Zod. It's either Zod or it's one of Zod's henchmen. He's sort of pushing his head into the floor, much like Vision does with White Vision. Hex Vision does with White Vision. And while Superman is flying, I'm going to say Zod, I think it's Zod, away from his mother, he's like, you think you can threaten my mother? Yeah. Right? That whole thing, and then he throws him at the IHOP, and the IHOP blows up. In fact, I think it's a petrol station, not the IHOP. I think the IHOP is either before or after. But anyway. Man... Vision has been portrayed like Superman in this TV show a lot. Yes, I think.
I agree.
And this is just this episode has these two very, very, very strong moments, and I don't think anybody else is going to mention it. So I am fucking mentioning it.
Oh, you mention it.
So this is the first one. You go and watch Podlovian Friends, Man of Steel, when he saves his mother from General Zod or whoever the fuck he saves his mother from. I think it's General Zod, and he's you think you can threaten my mother, and he's pushing his head, much like Vision does to White Vision, and then throws him into a thing that then blows up.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people throwing people into things that blow up in Man of Steel, right?
Right.
Much like in this.
Yeah.
And in this, White Vision walks out of the flames, much like whichever of the Kryptonians.
So good. I love it. Yeah, carry on, because I'm getting overexcited again.
So I just want to say this now, so that when we get to the later point, because I honestly, it's my favourite thing that happens in this episode. Is the second
tell
thing.
Me then. Tell me.
Should we just get into it now? Okay,
just tell me now. You've been building up to the bloody thing.
Well, I've only really laid the context, but it's fine. I'll just say now.
Yes, but at length. I want to hear the thing that you've been building to.
So, later, the thing that Hex Vision says to White Vision that finally gets through to him.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah. Is it?
They crash into a library.
Yeah.
And this is the best place in the world for these two characters to have this conversation.
I know. I love that conversation. I love that whole conversation.
The fact that it happens in a library is fucking lovely.
I loved it. I loved all of that.
So the White Vision says, like, my directive is to destroy the Vision.
Yeah.
And so the Vision then, Hex Vision, then sort of flies underneath the floorboard, then out behind White Vision and gets White Vision in a sort of headlock from behind, in a position like he's about to snap his neck.
Oh,
right?
I see where you're going, but he doesn't.
He looked, and I actually thought, especially because of the Superman dragging the head through the thing, I thought maybe he's about to snap White Vision's neck, because he looks like he's about to. He's got, I'm doing it, Podlevians, I've got one arm.
Not to me.
Not
just
to
just to clear any confusion.
To an imaginary white Jonathan in front of me.
Right.
So he's got the one arm around the neck and the other one pressing on the back of the head.
Yeah.
So that if he wants to, he can grab the head and then spin it and snap the neck and do the, like the death of Zod that Superman does in Man of Steel, right? But he doesn't do that. He says, "Am I the Vision, or am I a condition?" He says, "I'm not the real Vision. I'm only a conditional Vision." And then the White Vision says, "I request elaboration."
Yeah.
Right. This whole thing made me very, very happy, because they have a superhero movie fight, which is, they're talking about a thought experiment.
Yeah, no,
about what identity, not even identity, but it's metaphysical philosophy.
I loved that whole. I love it when it says, "I request elaboration."
I request elaboration,
because it was like, okay, these are now not two visions fighting; these are two visions communicating, and they are communicating like two visions.
Yeah,
not like good vision and bad vision, or like monster vision and vision. Like, really, it was two visions, exactly to how two visions would communicate with one another.
I wouldn't have dared to believe that I would be able to watch in the season finale anything other than two visions blasting each other with their big
and they take
mind
the
stones.
time to let them do that.
The fight is about an idea, and it's about the what am I? So many years ago, I went to Yale. Right, you know that I didn't actually go to Yale. But what I did do is I listened to a lot of free minors that Yale were putting out for on the internet. So this is still there, Podlovians. If you want a Yale education, it's not going to get you anything.
Have some more wine if you're going to start on this.
It's not going to get you anywhere in life or in the world, but it will enrich your mind because it's Yale. There was a course called Death, and it was taught by Professor Shelley Kagan, right? And it was called Death. That's the very sort of glossy name to draw you in, but really it was metaphysical philosophy. It was about what am I? And thought experiments like this ship, if you remove all the planks, look, it's happening now.
Yeah.
If you remove all the planks, is it still the same ship? If you were to build a new ship with the planks you've removed, is that the real ship?
I love this conversation, so honestly. And you know what's really interesting? Because as you say, it's really fucking intelligent. It's Yale standard conversation, right?
Sure, yeah.
And our 8-year-old captivated. She was just...
The 4-year-old not so much.
Oh no,
so
the 4-year-old.
She's got some development to go before she's ready for Yale.
I feel that's quite reasonable. I am impressed and shocked that the 8-year-old was as captivated as she was, because she was just hanging off it. Like, she was thinking.
That wooden ship, yeah.
Like, she was
planks
all
removed,
in.
yeah.
Anyway, okay, I love you. We've had a lot of talk of metaflorices.
Metaflorices. So yeah, the real point, I didn't want to get into it now, but the real point was about the Man of Steel thing, because obviously Superman snaps Zod's neck. He doesn't find a way to communicate with Zod and talk him down, but in WandaVision, Vision to Evil Vision is able to talk him down, and he's got him in the pose ready to snap his neck, but he's like, actually, I'm gonna
I loved it though, because
in the library,
right,
I'm gonna be,
it was so,
I'm gonna smart you out of your evilness.
The right choice.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Brilliant, I agree. So we need to go back right to the beginning. So wait, this happens. We are actually, the library scene is in chronological order from the conversation we just had.
Well, we've missed a bunch of stuff.
Have we?
Yes.
So Agatha has been thrown into the house. She sends the boys home. Oh, we cut to Monica and
Pietro.
Pietro.
Boner. I'm in my man cave.
I'm in my god, I just love.
All right, chillax. He is from 2005, and he was horrible then. Right? The man cave, the chillax.
I absolutely just slayed me.
Podlovians, if anyone ever says, "Is this your man cave?" you say, "No, it is just a room."
I loved it. I just thought it was so funny. And there's so many moments in this TV show where I've been like, that actor is having the time of their lives.
When he plays the E minor.
But for me, right, Catherine Hahn, the entire season has just been living her best life.
Yeah, until she was Exposition Fairy. And then there's a bit of pain in her eyes, I think.
But for the most part...
Episodes 1 to 7, yes.
Right, and this one.
8 and 9, I think... 8 and 9, I see a little bit in... what's her name?
Catherine Hahn.
Catherine Hahn. A little bit of, I am really just explaining things. That's no fun.
Less in this one. I agree with episode 8.
Yeah.
I'm going to get on to that anyway. But I feel like she's been having a blast. Like, she's living her best life. And Evan Peters, just, like, all of the way through, like, all of his scenes, I feel like he's been having a really good time. But this particular episode, even though he doesn't do
a lot. No.
He doesn't do a lot, and he does way less than we have been theorizing and predicting and talking about. But we can get onto that as well. I just feel like he is like, you know what? This is my character. I understand this. I can do this. And I think he's really entertained by Ralph Boner.
Ralph Boner.
I feel like he really thinks it's hilarious, so he's having fun with it.
He's definitely having a good time.
Yeah. So you go in with him and Monica, and she's like, "How is she controlling you?" And like, Monica's brilliant, and
she is.
She rips off the necklace.
He says, "Please let me live, or release me."
Release me, yeah. And he's like, "Yeah," and she's like, "Who are you?" And then she fights.
He's Ralph. So the TV show presents itself like this man-child lived next door, and Agatha therefore sort of possessed him, made him sort of stay out of the way so she could pretend to be the neighbour.
Yeah.
He is just a Westview resident called Ralph Boner. Good for him.
Can I just say, right? We have been, and it's not just us, the entire WandaVision.
It's not our fault, Judith.
I've been theorizing about who Ralph is from episode 1. He's been Mephisto, he's been the devil.
Well, the devil's in the details. That's not all he's in.
Yeah, like, they have been screwing with us, and I swear, if it's Jacques, or if it's Feige, whoever
okay,
I swear they have been watching Twitter and laughing their heads off, because we have been going mental with our theories and our thoughts and our ideas and who Ralph is and who Pietro is and all of this, like the worlds colliding together and bringing Quicksilver over box and who, like, and they're just laughing their heads off.
Boner.
Like, and like some people,
it's the Beavis and Butthead conclusion of...
Some people on the Twitters are really cross.
I think that mostly they're just sort of playful, right?
Yeah,
but it doesn't come across because it's on Twitter.
Like, I agree. It's not like actual, like, oh, we're gonna like come and like stab you in your sleep.
Yeah, they're not like.
But they're just a bit like, God damn it! It really tickled me. It really tickled me to picture them in my head, looking at their phones every Friday, looking at all the theories and all the ideas everybody's having, and just pissing themselves laughing because they know what's coming. And like, I just think that's so funny.
All the sensible people said it's entirely possible that Ralph is just a guy who lives in town. It's entirely possible that Pietro is just Ralph. I've heard this theory before.
That Pietro is Ralph?
Yeah.
I never saw a theory that Pietro is Ralph.
The Marvel fan... I'm going to find out what the name of that podcast is, because they deserve a mention, because they're really good.
Yeah, mention them. Because I have seen I don't look at anything on Twitter to do with it until we've watched it.
No, but I listen to a podcast that comes out like Sunday, after we've done ours, so I'm not influenced by what other people are saying.
It's very sensible.
But
they did theorise that Ralph was Pietro.
Well, the host, Sean...
Pietro.
The host, Sean Gerber, he's very sort of a lot of fan theories are wild, and the show, and he's ultimately been proven right, because all of the climaxes are based on the things that have been built up to in the show. There's no, what do you call him, Magneto, there's no Doctor Strange, there's no
Reed Richards,
there's no Professor X, and that all makes sense after you've watched it all,
yeah,
because you're like, it's the show we've been watching just finished, which makes sense because
yeah, I know, it absolutely slays me, because we've all been here coming up with all these ideas, and like we've been waiting, like people have been doing Jim gifs because they're waiting for Jim. I mean, not
so
actual Jim.
It's the MCU fan show, right?
Okay,
it's really good. Sean Gerber and I think it's Paul Herman are the two hosts, and they talk about WandaVision and they talk about all the Marvel stuff too.
Tell you what, it just slays me.
But yeah,
I'm impressed if they came up with the idea of Ralph being Pietro, because I've seen so many.
I'm sure that Sean Gerber said that Ralph was Pietro, or it could be.
Could, he
certainly is not like saying this is definitely what's happening, but yeah, it could be. And I remember listening and I'm thinking, yeah, absolutely could be, but it's not the fun theory.
Yeah.
The fun theory is that
it's the devil.
More going on.
Yeah, but it really, you know what? I really actually, because there is so much going on in this episode, right? I mean, in the whole series, but this episode is fucking rammed. There is so much that happens in this episode, right? I really enjoy the like almost anti-climax of Ralph Boner, because
if they'd have played it off like, if it wasn't Boner, then it might be like, can we still hope that it's something more? And it's like, no, he's Ralph Boner.
Because you've got like these scenes where you've got Agatha and Scarlet Witch and like White Vision and Hex Vision, and then Monica rocks up, then the kids are using their power, then you've got the army. Like, there's so much, right? If they tried to do a big reveal of who Ralph is, it would have just got lost.
Well,
it would have got swamped, because how can you give all those characters you've been spending all this time with?
I have some sympathy with that opinion, right? The idea that it detracts from everything else that's going on if you try and overdo it.
Yeah, that's my...
And I think that's where the show is sort of deciding to play. But I think where the problem is, people aren't expecting Reed Richards for no reason at all. They're expecting Reed Richards because there was the wink at the camera with the astrophysicist.
Yeah.
You choose to do that.
Who's Cliff?
Who the fuck knows?
Like, you've got... But I just... It's like...
But that's the problem. Like, if you are playing in a world where you've got
so many people who people could be,
like, you're always waiting with Marvel, especially not just Marvel, with Marvel, DC, any kind of comic book universe, or any literary universe now. Like, you watch a Stephen King film, you're waiting for
a little nod about something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or even if you read a Stephen King book, I told you 11/22/63.
Yeah, and you say they go to Derry.
Richie Tozier is and what's the girl? Beverly Marsh. They are in Derry, and the main character, he interacts with them, and it's really exciting. So people are waiting for things like that because they want their investment to pay off.
We literally do that ourselves.
That's what this podcast is about in a large way.
Yeah.
But yeah, people want the investment to pay off, so they're always waiting for that. And it does distract people from the story that's actually being told to them.
And it has. All the way through the season, it has distracted people.
It has, but I think that if you do the winky astrophysicist and then you never show who it is, I think you are inviting the Twitter conversation without the goods to show for it at the end. Is my take.
In my opinion.
Yes.
Oh no, we're getting into like, we always do this. I'm always like, these are the sections that we do, and then we just crap all over it.
This is a very special episode. Much like episode 5 or 6.
Right. I feel that the Ralph Boner thing. Yeah. Because you're right, they've been doing the winky winky noddy noddy about Ralph all the way through.
Devil's in the details. That's not all he's in.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah. And they put the Grim Reaper's helmet in between the floorboards in episode 2. Like,
I feel
for a reason
that this was genuinely hilarious. My sense of humor, right? And it's
Boner.
it's not that specifically, just it's not gonna work for everybody, and that's fine. But for me, to build up and build up and build up and build up to something being a big dramatic, really important, like universe impacting revelation and then do this.
I think it's good that his name is Boner. And Monica even says it like she's a member of the audience. Your name is Ralph Boner?
Boner? You think Boner?
Oh, I'm totally on board with trolling your audience.
I just
You know, one of my favourite things in Buffy is when they pretend Cordelia is Ted.
But this was even better because it's been a series long build up, and it's had like people all over the planet like obsessing over. I'm sorry, I keep laughing. I just think it's the funniest. It is the funniest thing, and it's a dumb joke, and it's annoyed people, but it really worked for me. However, I'm talking about like how hilarious I find the anticlimax of Ralph Boner.
So there is a literal deflation that you're having to compensate for with humour.
But no, it's not that.
No? Okay.
No, because you get a resolution to it. You're told who Ralph is, and there is a hilarious anticlimax, like balloon going. Whee!
Literally, and then whizzing about the
yeah,
room
exactly,
and hitting
right?
you in the face.
But I agree with you on the astrophysicist thing. There is zero climax. There is no anticlimax or climax, no revelation, no. It's just lost in the wind.
Okay, so in defense of Feige and Schaefer, right? And I
am always slamming on those people.
I know, right? I am
known for my Marvel hatred. Me.
I'm quite even on this because I'm not. I kind of feel like the creators of the show invited some of this.
Oh yeah, I mean they're not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing.
But I think that in hindsight, maybe they wouldn't with the astrophysicist so much because it kind of overtakes what people are anticipating, and you don't want that.
Yeah,
you don't want the audience to be anticipating something that you know is not going to happen. And
because like if you bear in mind, especially like you've had these big showdowns, like the Agatha Scarlet Witch show off, like face off, is epic. The Vision versus Vision like face off, epic. Then you've got Hayward rocking up, and the kids get like all of the stuff that goes on this episode is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was just excited the whole way through, but we're still talking about what didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. The fact is, if this show was building its mythology anew, then we wouldn't be talking about anything because the astrophysicist would be like, wouldn't think about it.
You'd be like, oh, one of those scientist guys at that base was that guy, and
or you wouldn't even notice because you wouldn't think about it at all. But we do kind of have to talk about it because we know that the Fantastic Four now belongs to Marvel and that they're gonna use those.
Okay, so I have got a question. Yes. I know, as I say, we are jumping around our sections, but
that's fine. I don't think our sections are gonna hold very.
They're not gonna hold.
They're gonna be like Wanda's TV in the previous episode when it's bloody blown all over the place, or 2 episodes ago even.
So, okay, so obviously, Evan Pietro. Ralph Boner.
Ralph Boney Bone.
Right. So Agnes, is now okie dokie artichoke.
Yeah.
Living in Westview.
Yes.
And they've said, if I need you, I know where you are, and etc. Which is, everybody is fucking obsessed with Agatha. There is no way that character's not coming back.
Oh, Wanda is going to go, and especially given what happens in the second post-credits scene.
Yeah, 100%.
She's definitely going to go and find Agatha and be like, right, I'm having a bit of trouble with this. Can you just help me out with this?
Yeah, she's 100%.
And Agatha's going to say, yeah, if you release me from this fucking horrible curse.
Yeah, 100%. Agatha's coming back. For one thing, like, if she doesn't, I'm genuinely concerned that the 8-year-old is going to plots because she's obsessed with Agatha.
She's going to plots because it's going to be a while off.
I know, but I'm just saying, there is some Agatha love out there.
She's going to have to, they're going to all have to get used to the fact that they don't get the character they want immediately.
I know, I'm just saying.
You got to wait.
Right? However, Westview, therefore, will be back in the MCU. They're not, like, Wanda flying off at the end isn't the end of Westview.
No, because Agatha is there. Agatha's not definitely gone forever.
right?
Like
Which
that.
means Ralph Boner is also there.
Yeah.
Agatha presumably will still live with Ralph Boner.
Yeah. Ralph
because
and Ags. Yeah.
that's where she lives, right? So, as well as trolling the audience, yeah, they used Evan Peters for a reason.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on with this? Because if they are bringing, like, if, as you say, they MCU now own Fantastic Four and the X-Men.
Yes.
Right. He is the Quicksilver from the X-Men universe. They're going to be bringing over the X-Men.
Yeah.
Is Ralph Boner going to...
Okay, right. So, there were two ways that Marvel Studios could go.
Either
right?
completely recast.
Completely recast or integrate, right?
Yeah.
This might be a way of saying we're not integrating.
Yeah.
Right? We've brought over one of the actors from the other universe, and he is literally just Ralph Boner.
And to show you that he is not...
He's not Pietro.
He's
so
not.
Get used to it. We're going to introduce mutants in our own time.
In our brand
new
way.
Because we know what we're doing. That X-Men universe is broken into a million pieces, and it is.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you're right. Because if they try and do it...
fuck all sense.
There's fuck all sense. And if they try and do it, they're going to have to try and be true to the existing stories.
Which then creates a million problems.
A million problems. So I think they'd be very sensible to recast it entirely. However...
Well, I always wanted them to recast, except I wanted Fassbender.
Yeah.
But, sorry, Fassbender, Irish Liverpool fan, you're probably as disappointed with Liverpool at the moment as I am. But...
I love a bit of Fassbender. He's great.
Yeah, maybe they cast him as somebody else. Like, you know, Evan Pietro gets to be Ralph Bonybone. Fassbender could be someone else.
Or just go on and have a successful film career in something else.
I know, but I just want to see him in a Marvel movie.
I know. But yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we really need to go and try and cover... I really very much enjoyed when Wanda does that thing she does to Thor, to Agatha.
Yes, and she sort of sneaks up behind him.
Yeah, right. Because I really... You know how Agatha says, like, your power isn't the problem, it's your knowledge or your training, whatever she says.
Yeah, ultimately we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
That Agatha is the studier and Wanda is the natural.
And I very much enjoy the confidence that Agatha has. Because she fakes her. She knows exactly what she's done. She knows exactly what she's doing. And she has the confidence in her own training and her own knowledge. Ultimately, it's that hubris that brings her down. And I've done... By the way, Podlavians, if you are interested in writing your own successful television show, I have a writing advice series on YouTube, and I did an entire video dedicated to hubris in your characters. Anyway, that's...
In your what? Sorry?
Characters. I'm trying to sound posh and educated.
Okay.
I don't in my YouTube series.
Did not translate to me.
Oh,
I am not posh and educated, so that makes sense.
Lily, neither am I.
Lily.
Lily. Anyway, it is the hubris of that confidence that is her downfall. But when
'twas Aristotle who first depicted the...
See, now you're being posh and educated.
No, not posh and educated. Just read some Aristotle. Anyone can do that. You can be a football fan from the Northwest
and still read Aristotle.
Very poor.
What did I shout in the sea? Like Plato?
No, Socrates.
Socrates. Anyway, right? When Wanda magics Agatha off to that stake again, and I fucking loved that.
Yeah. Right.
And I tell you what, we've talked about how Rosie, the 8-year-old, reacts. Rosie just, like, lost her mind. She was, like, bouncing. Her hand was, like, gripping into my leg. Like, proper, like, these little 8-year-old claws gripping into my leg. She was so, like, oh, my God, this is a big deal.
The crown appears on Wanda's
It's
head.
So brilliant. But I really enjoyed Agatha's fake out because... At first, I believed it, and I didn't buy her fake out in the car.
Fake out?
That she's not in control of this situation when she's sent back.
Right.
Like the fake out in the car with Vision,
Yeah.
I didn't buy it, and we
Yeah.
talked immediately.
That's one of my lingering questions about this TV show, and I've got a few.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that at the end.
Okay.
Because we can wait for that.
I'm going to miss some because there's lots.
So, yeah, right. I didn't buy the fake out in the car with Vision. I really didn't. I was not convinced. However, at the beginning of this scene, I was convinced, and I was like, oh my god, like she's taken her back to the place that traumatizes her because of the death of her mother, and the witches, and like the turning on her, like the women turning, like I was like, oh my god, like I thought that this was going to be a turning point in Agatha. And a bit through it, the more dramatic she got with her, no, I was like, oh no, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And it was bullshit. And I really enjoyed it. I found it stressful, obviously, because it's very tense. But I really enjoyed the Scarlet Witch sort of power and the crown. And we said, didn't we, like that magical crown imagery would come back from when her mother, Agatha's mother, has the blue one, and then Wanda gets the red, like the Sokovian.
Yeah.
Like we said that would happen, and I loved seeing that. Yeah, I really enjoyed that scene. I thought it was really good. And the zombie women coming up, Wanda,
very scary. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
you're a witch, because we are very sort of drenched in witch stories. Like we are. Like we're not.
My last book is the first book I've had come out with no witches.
Right.
And I've written lots of books.
And I have written 0 books without witches. 0.
Witches are a big part of our story, and also the things we like to watch.
Yes, but I mean we forget how this is a subsect of kind of powered characters.
Yeah, and she doesn't believe she's a witch, and it's really this whole Scarlet Witch revelation thing, because it's really interesting watching it from Wanda's perspective, because we've been referring to her as Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Because that's the character. And when she blasts out in Age of Ultron with the red power, and it's like, well, obviously she's Scarlet Witch. Like, that's what's going on. She wears red. She has red magic. Like, she's been Scarlet Witch, but she hasn't been.
No.
To Wanda, she hasn't been.
No. She's been...
Wanda.
A girl from Eastern Europe with very strong red wiggly woos.
Wiggly woos, exactly. So watching her resist the idea of being a witch is really interesting.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that perspective, and watching her coming to accept who she is, and that's a really interesting process. And then she uses the runes, as I say, like she says, like, you taught me. Because she didn't know she was a witch. Yeah. She didn't know about the study of magic. She didn't know any of this.
This is kind of a flaw in the storytelling, right?
When the hell did she do those runes? When did she learn how to do those runes?
When and how, I'm fine with, because she created the hex. It's Agnes telling her.
Right.
In a given space, only the witch who cares. Like, Agnes said that so that we would understand. But in the story where we don't exist, because we don't actually exist in the story.
Isn't that telling Wanda? I was fine with that.
No, but
because Wanda didn't know.
No, but she doesn't need Wanda to know. And all she did is give Wanda the information she needed to defeat her later.
Alright, I see your point.
Right? It's a stupid thing to do. If you
It is like a villain monologuing.
Well, no, but villain monologuing is fine if you've got control of what information you're releasing and what information you're not. If you're telling the hero, once we come out of this place where I'm in control, you can just put runes around me and defeat me. That's stupid.
Right, okay, I agree. My problem wasn't that, because, again, hubris. Cocky villains taunting someone.
Yeah, but hubris is one thing. Like, that is stupidity.
But did you think it was stupid when she told her in the first place?
No.
No, I didn't.
But I wasn't. I was caught up in the. I was in the moment.
Okay, on repeat viewings.
I will forever. Yeah, I'll be like, you shouldn't be telling her this.
But did you though? No, but you have watched it more than once.
But now that I know that was the point.
Yeah, but
because
it wasn't at the time. It wasn't.
Judith, right? J.J. Barnes, my beloved.
Jonathan McKinney.
If this was my story, I would edit it so that was not how the hero won. because the hero shouldn't win because the villain tells them how to win 2 episodes before the end.
But
no.
No. Right.
The
Okay.
the hero should learn something.
She learned.
Yeah, she learned because the villain told her what to do.
Hubris.
No, the villain told her what to do for no reason at all. It doesn't serve the villain's purpose to tell the hero what to do.
Because she's being cocky. She's mocking her.
No,
she's telling.
no.
Yes.
You don't tell her that. This whole time, Agatha has been telling Wanda nothing because the audience doesn't need to know yet. But as soon as the audience needs to know, then Agatha has to tell Wanda exactly how to defeat her. It is dumb, right? She shouldn't tell her that. She shouldn't be telling her, oh, by the way, if we go out of here, which we're going to do in a minute, because I'm going to go out of here, and you're going to follow me, and we're going to have a big sky battle, then if you cast runes around me, you will defeat me. But
yeah, like, but she's confident because...
No, you know I'm right. No, this is a bad bit of storytelling.
Because she talks about how Wanda hasn't got education, has power but doesn't know how to use it, doesn't know how to control it. So she doesn't, like, she's been studying the use of these runes. She's been learning and training. Like, think about how long Hermione studies runes for. Right? Hermione is in runes class all the time.
Yeah, but Wanda just, like, did chaos magic that
yeah, but
Agatha
chaos magic isn't learned magic.
But you know I'm right.
No.
It was dumb. Agatha was dumb when she told Wanda how to defeat her.
Right, that since that moment in the basement when she saw the runes to that moment in the sky battle, I don't know when Wanda had an opportunity to learn what runes to use and how to cast them into her hex.
Mm-hmm.
Also, right before the runes were revealed, Agatha had been using her magic. She had been using her magic, blasting the fuck out of Wanda.
No, because wrong. Wanda was blasting the fuck out of Agnes, and Agnes was feeding from it.
But she was flying.
Not necessarily... Well, is the flying a spell, or is that a witch power that witches have? I take it that she's able to fly.
Witches can't fly, but maybe that's just...
In Marvel,
I think, can witches fly?
I think in Marvel they can just fly, that they can walk. Like, that's not a spell.
Right.
But, like, spells, like, she is I wondered the same thing. She's flying. She's like, ha! And Podlovians, I just did the arm movement that Agatha does.
Yeah. Careful with your wine.
No, don't worry. I know where my wine is. I'm not a Neanderthal. Not that there's anything wrong with the Neanderthals, woke friends.
Be Neanderthal inclusive on this podcast.
We are Neanderthal inclusive. But yeah, she does the ha.
I love that.
It's funny.
It's so funny because she's like, ha. And then, huh?
It's a classic sort of, oh, my power doesn't work.
Yeah, it's fun.
She might as well shake her hands like, hang on, let me just try this again.
I enjoyed that. I enjoy a bit of classic humour. And it's very sitcom, which suits the...
Yeah. I liked it when the runes were written in the hex.
In the hex.
I liked
cool. It. It was cool.
There was no opportunity in the show to get that information to Wanda without Agatha just spelling it out for her. It's not a good way of getting the way to defeat the villain from the villain's mouth. It's just not good.
But also remember, like, Agatha doesn't go into a room with her.
No,
so
but
Agatha might have...
But
been
still,
like, as long as I don't go into a rune.
But still, it's still dumb. Like, she could just not say that and let Wanda try and use her magic and not explain why she can't. And then Wanda doesn't know why she can't use her magic, and she's then not able to defeat her later. It's so easy. You just don't tell your mortal enemy how to beat you.
Unless you
loathe me.
I loathe you.
Well, I loathe you. I mean, I
loathe
You're
me.
my beloathed.
You're my beloathed.
Why do you loathe me?
Because
I'm speaking ill of WandaVision. When it's
no, because I've
still
spoken to
warm in the ground.
No, because I don't see a problem with it.
Well, that's fine. That's fine, but there is a problem with it.
You're a penis.
Whether you see it or not.
Fine. So okay, I do see your point.
Right.
If I'm loathing myself equally, not equally, a little bit less than I loathe you.
Of course, less than you loathe me. Yeah.
I do.
That's only good sense.
That's only good sense. But I do see, I do see what you're saying.
Right. Right, so Podlovian friends, I'm pointing at you now, which what I mean is I'm pointing at my computer screen.
He is, literally.
My entire storytelling function in the world is to fix the villain's plan, right? If the villain's plan is not quite right, my brain has an alarm going off, which I don't like because I have an alarm in my brain, and I need to fix the villain's plan.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So when this happened, that's what happened.
Your alarm went off.
My alarm went off.
Yeah, I understand. I do understand, because
she could have just not said how she was controlling it, and that would have been fine, and she'd have won. But instead, she was really dumb, and she told. And in Man of Steel, to bring it back to Man of Steel, the same thing happens when General Zod's mask breaks, and he's like, "Oh no, the Earth's atmosphere is both incredibly powerful for me, but also really hard for me to control." Clark's like, "Oh, my parents taught me to focus," and Clark Kent, Superman, basically explains to Zod how to focus through it and get over it so he can fight him better. Well, just don't do that, Superman, and then it's easier to fight your enemy, and you'll probably just batter him without needing him to destroy half of the east coast of the United States.
Okay, so right before we get to the end of this episode, which we haven't even touched.
I know Monica can be shot at, and bullets will pass through her like she's a big bowl of jelly.
I know. Right, I'm just gonna say before we get to the end, because once we crash down,
we're gonna cry.
I'm not going to cope emotionally, right? So I want us to make sure we have covered shit before we get there.
The idea of covering shit is my sadness and my hope.
So you're right. Monica rocking up, and she goes to protect the boys from Hayward, which I love because she's fucking brilliant.
Yep,
Monica is a great character. She's a great person.
And for a moment, you think maybe she gets shot to death because she's like, no, and then. But then no, she just stands there.
But isn't she a brilliant character? She's so smart and so brave and empathetic, and
she's slightly better than James Woo as like the best character in this show.
Oh,
slightly better.
I do.
Only because I'm only saying that because she's ultra heroic.
She's fucking brilliant, isn't she?
And Jimmy Woo is like what's right underneath ultra heroic.
Standard
like,
heroic.
Just like very heroic.
I love Jimmy Woo though.
When he's like within the hour. My colleagues from Quantico are going to be here within the hour.
Yeah, because I was like, okay.
And then he's on the phone like, Cliff, can you get here within the hour?
Yeah, I know. I love that. That was so funny.
It was.
You know what I missed from this episode? We did not get enough Darcy.
Yeah, all she did was say, like enjoy prison or something.
Yeah, like, she rocks up in a little ice cream van that she'd robbed in the circus. And, like, chronologically, it makes complete sense because...
Yeah.
It is... But
it's basically, everything is happening after episode 6.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But Monica's brilliant, and I'm very, very excited to see what they do with her, because I just think she's fantastic. But I love, you know what, we're talking about how they're replacing the mutants, right?
Right.
What they did with, now which one is Speed?
Tommy is
Tommy.
Speed.
When he whizzes round and like he nicks the hat.
The hat was brilliant. I loved the fact that he stole the hat off the last guard.
I agree.
And he's like laughing with the sunglasses on.
That's so like the scene when Evan Peters Quicksilver runs round that room.
Well.
And just moves things and nicks things. Like if you're talking about them referencing Man of Steel, which is a completely different universe.
Yeah, but so is X-Men.
I know,
We've now established that.
Yeah, but my point is, I feel like that was a nod. I feel like that was, this is the new Quicksilver.
Well, I mean, he's not the new Quicksilver. He's Speed.
Like, he's the new speedy character. Like, he's funny and mischievous and fast, and that works.
Sure,
and
I think that is what the character is from the reference point, which is the comic books that they're drawing from.
Oh no, I'm sure. I felt that there was a real similarity with those two scenes, and that scene in that X-Men movie was like the only good thing in That.
in X-Men Days of Future Past.
It was the only good thing.
Well, I think that, what's her name? The woman who was Katniss Everdeen.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence. I think she's very good.
Oh, people hate her Mystique.
Why?
People hate her Mystique.
Also, Peter Dinklage is really good in that film.
He's good in everything. But yeah, people hate her Mystique, and apparently she hated being Mystique.
So there's like, she doesn't like doing it, so the X-Men superfans are like,
yeah,
we don't like you.
Yeah.
We don't know what to do.
I'm going to get wine.
Oh, okay. So, Podlovians, I am watching WandaVision, the series finale. Judith J.J. Barnes wants me to edit this out, but maybe I won't, because I decide. So, Scarlet Witch / Wanda is talking to Vision, Hex Vision, and I think it's the conversation where they're going to fight for their home. And yeah, White Vision's walking out from the fire, and Agatha appears above the house. She's all floaty. It's very good. And
you're going to edit this out, right?
No, I don't think so.
Oh my god!
The Podlovians want to hear me watching WandaVision and describing it in
odd
detail. So, what were we talking about?
Jennifer Lawrence is Mystique.
Right. We don't know what to do. That's the X-Men fans. They're like, when they see Jennifer Lawrence, they're like, we love the X-Men. We love the X-Men. We love the X-Men. Then Jennifer Lawrence comes on screen. We don't know what to do.
You're such a twat. So anyway, I feel like that was a nod to the popularity of a character that they've essentially confirmed the death of.
Okay, but I think it's because the character of Speed, or Tommy, in the comics is like that, and that's...
Well, no, that's fine, but they've shown all the way through, you're like your Uncle Pietro. Like,
yeah.
He says, he says it on the Halloween episode, and... Yeah. But I think that was a really nice touch to be like, we've killed off a popular character, again.
Which character have they killed?
Quicksilver, by making so that Pietro is Ralph Boner.
Okay.
They're like, we are confirming that character is gone.
So, okay, let me stop you there. Let's take a detour.
Oh god, are we going back to Yale?
We're going to go back to Yale, wherein we will ask the question, is it now confirmed that the X-Men Pietro Maximoff is not this guy?
I don't think so, but I think that the show is saying, you can never know. I don't think we can know. I think what we've proven watching this series
is that we can just take the series at its word.
We don't fucking know anything.
Well, no, but the show is quite honest, actually. It tells you what's going on, and we kind of get lost deciphering things.
I feel like... Right, my interpretation, and I'm not going to claim that I know or I'm certain, because I'm definitely not.
She definitely knows Podlovian. She has a direct line to Feige and Schaefer.
Oh my gosh, imagine if I... Anyway, right?
They're like, who are you? Stop calling us.
We wanted the other JJ.
He's over at DC now. He's making Black Superman. Good on him.
Well,
did you know that J.J. Abrams making a Superman movie?
I did not know, but I'm well in, and that means that there's a JJ space in the Marvel universe.
There you go, one per universe.
Yeah, one JJ per world. Right. So I feel if it was me writing this, and these were my choices, so how I would...
The TV show WandaVision, not the wider thing.
Yeah. If this was my TV show, and these had been my choices... The reason I would have done this is by casting Evan Peters as Pietro and then confirming that is not Quicksilver. He is not brought over from he is Ralph Boner.
We're starting afresh.
Yeah, but by nodding to the fact that the audience loves Evan Peters, loves Evan Peters Quicksilver, by giving Speed... that little scene where he is very similar to the similar scene in X-Men, right? They're saying, we know you love Evan Peters. We know you love Quicksilver.
Prankster with super speed.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
We've formed a bond between those two characters. We are taking away the original. We are confirming that the death of Pietro in Ultron was the death. Acknowledge the character you love from the other world that we are killing... by casting him as Boner, we are confirming that will not happen. Quicksilver is dead. But we have built a bond with this other mutant who does the same thing, but he's a kid, but he has a bond with Pietro, who you love, and we are recognizing your love from that universe by just nodding to it in a little scene that is over very quickly, but respects what was gone, respects the success and love that the audience have for something gone, and then brings it into the new.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I would feel.
I mean, yeah, ultimately, I like the clean slate.
Yeah.
Right? Because one of the problems I had is I want to see a new Wolverine. Podlovian.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
And that is not a criticism of
oh
The
my god,
Greatest
that's
Showman.
No, Hugh Jackman is
The Greatest Showman.
He is, but I agree. Like the problem.
I want Wolverine to be small, like shorter in height, because Wolverine is not a tall man.
Well, Jackman's not tall.
He's taller than Wolverine.
Right.
And I want Wolverine to be a little more attitude and a little bit less sort of, oh, I'm an old man, or oh, I'm in love with Jean Grey. I know he is in love with Jean Grey, but he doesn't need to just be in love with Jean Grey. He needs to also be a kind of wound up, super frustrated like monster who's waiting to jump on people and batter them to death.
The Magneto and
yes.
of the Hugh Jackman, like, you know, when you've got McKellen and Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman, you've got all these actors who kind of made those roles iconic.
Yeah.
And they tried to do it with a new cast in the same universe with brilliant actors. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, no one is going to...
Well, yeah, like the woman who was in Game of Thrones who plays the Robb Stark's sister...
Sansa. God, what's her name? She's just a
baby.
I don't know
what the
She's married to a Jonas brother.
Oh, good for her. But yeah, I don't know. She plays Jean Grey in the... but I've never seen that movie because apparently it's not very good and I've got no interest in watching it. And also,
Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner, is that her name?
It just came to me. Right. I feel like in universe, they knew that they couldn't keep using this aging cast. And I say aging as if like they're, you know, like Hugh Jackman is some like doddery knight. I'm not saying that, but
no, he'll just tear in here and trash the place and kill us both.
I'd be okay if he tore in here, but I wouldn't want the death.
No, okay.
But anyway, right, you have to
You can't choose which bits you receive.
And I will.
It's death and tearing or nothing.
You have to like reboot essentially so that your cast can age again, and then reboot so your cast can age again.
Yeah.
They tried to reboot it within universe, and those movies are not loved.
No, they are not loved.
They are not loved. However, in a new world under, you know, the great and powerful Feige,
the Lord of all,
that we need a good Feigonian. A Feigonian universe.
Is he our new demigod?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like the Feigonian universe.
Feigonian. Yeah.
If they rebooted the X-Men by integrating it in, and mutants being a thing, and Speed being the new Quicksilver, I feel like it has potential.
Speed's not the new Quicksilver. Speed's just Speed.
No, I know. I mean, in the universe, the mischievous, speedy character. They get rid of Quicksilver, but they don't get rid of the concept of the mischievous, speedy character.
Okay, but you have to realise that Feigonian deity Feige
knows that Speed and Wiccan are their own characters with their own history and their own world.
He loves the comic books more than anyone else, right? Maybe that's a bit much. And it's probably you, Podlevy, and you love the comic books more than anybody else. But Feige loves the comic books way more than...
I'm not saying they've done like a reboot of Quicksilver.
So the Vision and Scarlet Witch comic book that I was reading, where Norm... Like they are
very blonde and
they go to New Jersey, literally New Jersey, and they want to buy a house,
and it's Norm
that's selling them the house. Like
I love it. I really love it.
Feige knows the comic books and he loves them, and he's gonna try and keep them coming. And like honestly, reading the comics is almost an identical experience to watching the MCU. And that is not true of any other comic book universe on screen.
When's the big cow going to show up?
Bova. I mean, maybe it will, because I'm going to say she, because I'm brave. Bova, the midwife cow, will show up maybe in whatever the fuck Wanda shows up in next. But the point is, nothing else takes the source material as seriously.
Yeah,
Nothing
no,
else.
I
And like
love it.
the best superhero movies that aren't MCU, right? We're talking The Dark Knight, we're talking the original Batman from Tim Burton, Spider-Man 1 and 2, Sam Raimi's
with
original Spider-Man films.
Tobey Maguire.
With Tobey Maguire. And maybe not the third one.
No,
Some people
no.
like the third one, but it's got a...
No, 1 and 2.
1 and 2,
Yeah.
But...
I liked Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
I like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, but I don't like him... Well, no, I like him as Peter Parker, I don't like him as Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think that's it, yeah.
But... I don't say I don't like him as Spider-Man, I like him fine as Spider-Man.
I had a great time with those movies.
I'm being picky because, you know,
Tom Holland is so fucking brilliant.
It's not even that. It's just that we can be picky now. We've got loads of comic book stuff.
We've got loads of Spider-Mens too.
Lots of Spider-Mens. As many Spider-Mens as you can shake a spider stick at. Until the cows come home, and then the cows come home and it's Boba, and she's like, "Do you want me to look after your baby?" And you're like, no.
And Into the Spider-Verse, you've got like hundreds of Spider-Mens to pick from just one film.
I wish I could remember the quote that the anyway, I can't, so it doesn't matter. But it's funny. So Feige knows and will do a good job. Anyway. What was the original point? The X-Men?
My point was, I'm not saying Speed is the new Quicksilver in terms of like, oh, they're like rebooting Quicksilver as Speed. That's not my point. No. My point is they are making a clean cut Quicksilver gone. However, a speedy prankster who has a bond with the character, you know, with that character, he lives while he. Like we have to get to the end of the film. But the point is that the concept of that character. So if you love the idea of a speedy prankster, we aren't erasing and obliterating that from the potential in the MCU. There is a new speedy prankster who you can fall in love with all over again, who has paid respect to the one who is gone. Is my point.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately there was a moment in cinema. And I think it was Civil War and the Marvel Captain America Civil War.
Yeah, I'm with you.
When Vision phases through the door to talk to Wanda.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the cinema and I literally thought at that point, this is not cinema anymore. This is television on the big screen.
Were we together when this came out? Or was that with your former?
No, we were together, but I think I saw it with Stopka and Tom.
Why did you not with me?
I don't know. I don't think you were as motivated to see it as you would be now.
I watched all of them in the cinema.
Civil War was 2016. So
I might have been. I was pregnant.
You were pregnant. We went to see Batman v Superman.
Yeah, but that was in my very early. Later in the pregnancy, there was no way I would have been going to the cinema because I was so ill.
Yeah, March was BVS, but the Civil War was like May.
Yeah, I was really very ill.
Buffy came out on the 1st of July.
Yeah, I was. I'd nearly died by this point. Why. So that
I'm off the hook, is what I'm saying. You are.
I was gonna say because I am don't be giving me I wasn't motivated because I saw all these fucking films in the cinema.
But Lillian, she wasn't motivated at all. If she wanted to carry her baby laden belly,
she nearly died 2 months previously.
Don't listen to her, But the point is, in Civil War, he phases through the door, and I remember thinking, this isn't cinema anymore. Yeah, it's television on the big screen.
Because they aren't explaining things. They just assume you know.
They assume that you know. And back then, I was like, well, that's a little presumptuous. Because it is. Now I'm like, this is the best thing.
Yeah, I really enjoy that, actually.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm in for this giant million-hour-long TV show that's I'm sold.
Me too.
Anyway, we need to move on. Okay. So,
what are we moving on to?
What have we missed? Because we've got the big end to do, right?
Mm-hmm. You mean the really calm, non-emotional ending that this show delivered up? This really sensible...
Right. What do we need to cover before we talk about the end? I want to cover something, right?
Go for it.
We've talked about Dottie.
Yeah.
And who Dottie could be.
You mean Sarah?
Because we love Emma Caulfield.
Emma Caulfield Ford.
Ford, yeah. Right? Because she's Anya.
Yeah.
Right? She no one.
She's just Sarah.
She's just
she has an 8-year-old and she wants the 8-year-old kid to be in
I tell you what, I really felt, obviously we've talked like 8-year-old, like she's saying like,
Right.
please let her out of her room. And I'm watching, I'm like, she's like, I just want to hold her.
Yeah.
And I was thinking,
I love the way
my
that this TV show
God.
realizes the suffering
Yeah.
that is inflicted on these people, because from Norm, just like his own experience, to this character Sarah, essentially that's what she says her
Yeah.
name is, right? Sarah, who can't even be with her child while and all she wants, she's not like, please stop it, she's just like, please can you make our children friends so that I can
She's like,
see
they can be
my
the class
children.
bully if you like.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I really don't mind, but oh my gosh, that. And it was so clever because I tried talking to my mother about this earlier, right? I was trying to tell my mother, because my mom,
Talk about your mother.
I love my mom, so
Yeah.
I will, right? My mom has very little MCU knowledge, but she has a vague interest.
She likes Iron Man.
She likes Iron Man and she fancies Paul Bettany. So she knows who Vision is, right? But she hasn't watched WandaVision, and she has, obviously she's not done like the watching all of it in 2 weeks so she can watch Endgame like we did, right?
Who would do that?
Who would do that? But I tried to tell her, because she knows we've been watching it, she knows we've been podcasting it, and I was telling her about the people in the town coming to Wanda and saying this stuff, and I was like, it was brutal, but it sets up the end.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, when Agatha says to it, she says, who are you going to save? The town or the people of Westview or your family? And this is when the 4-year-old, right, who we said was a bit like,
you have to save your family.
Yeah, she's just like, you save your family.
You save your family.
And then there was the 8-year-old who was at this point balled up in my lap going, but she won't. Because the 4-year-old has the simple view of like, I don't give a shit, you save your family. Whereas the 8-year-old has a slightly more developed...
Like, she knows where the story's headed.
She knows, and also she can see the people suffering. She understood. She saw the mum saying, I want to see my daughter. Please let me see my daughter, my 8-year-old daughter. And she's like, oh my God, what you're doing is keeping me from my mom.
Yeah.
So 4 is like, save your family. Save your family. And 8 is like, no.
She's like, Billy and Tommy, gotta go.
She's like, you can't. She won't save her family. Honestly, like, Rosie's sort of like on my lap in a ball, and the 4-year-old is just like, no, she will save her family. Like, that's the choice. But I thought that really bringing it home to Wanda, the suffering she was causing, not on purpose, not like I'm trying to hurt people.
No, she doesn't want to hurt anyone. Clearly,
she doesn't.
From the start to the finish, that's not...
And the choice she makes at the end tells you that.
Well, not only that, like, that just tells you that she's strong enough to deny herself her own comfort.
Yeah,
for
but
people she doesn't actually know.
Yeah, she's like, these people are going to hate me forever.
They are,
and I'm going to give up the thing that means the most to me in the entire universe, and that I will suffer for, which is my family. But
took her little boys into bed.
Oh my God, I can't. We have to talk about that properly because I can't even.
Okay, well, before we do that,
okay,
I feel like the episode 2 conceit of For the Children is a little bit left on the table for us to pick at and not know what the fuck the point was.
So much of it. Do that afterwards, because this is a thoughts and theories conversation.
Is that right? Because we're at the end.
Yeah. We have to go into the end, I think.
Okay.
And then we'll do thoughts and theories.
I will put my
because I have things.
Okay.
And I think that we can talk about those, but I'm going to need to get through talking about this end.
Let's do it then.
So,
well, we need to say first of all that Wanda defeats Agatha in the sky.
Oh yeah.
And then on the floor she condemns her to being...
I love how we're like in unison, like condemns her, because that's literally what it is. She is condemning an incredibly powerful, strong, smart witch to being okie dokie artichoke.
Okie dokie artichoke. Yeah, exactly. So she's going to be the nosy neighbour in Westview. I'm not entirely certain, like, I guess, and on my third viewing of the episode today, I decided in my head that the spells were separate. On the one hand, there's the spell that makes the town like a sitcom.
That Agatha frees everybody from.
On the no.
Oh, the hex and the
no. Bear with me. On the one hand, you've got the spell that makes the town like a sitcom, and on the other hand, you've got the spell that makes the person like a person in the sitcom, right? Because when she leaves, Agatha, we are led to believe, is left like a character in a sitcom, but the town isn't like a sitcom. So it must be that Wanda has developed to the point that she's able to delineate between the two spells and say, right,
no, I agree.
The town can be the town itself, and everybody in that town, Herb and Dottie, or sorry,
Sarah,
whoever Herb is, and Sarah, and all the others, they are going to be walking around doing their daily lives, and she's going to constantly be running around. Agnes is going to be running around like, hi, artichoke, and happy Halloweeny, and they're going to be like, well, this is terrible because
you're a knob.
Well, also, we know that she's trapped. Like, we don't like this.
And we know, we've watched her floating over the sky with all her purple fucking magic.
It's horrible.
So it's a horrible punishment.
Yeah.
And considering how much I fucking love Agatha, I'm like, no!
Well, hopefully, like 5 minutes after the second post-credit scene, Wanda gets to a bit in the Darkhold, and she's like, wait a minute, what does this mean? I'm going back to Westview. I'm going to unleash Agatha and bring her back to me.
So,
yes,
we have to now talk about the family. Like, we haven't even talked about Wanda's, like, power-up into the Scarlet Witch costume.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, she powers up into the Scarlet Witch costume and she looks fucking badass.
It's happening on the screen right now, look.
Right, yeah. And it's brilliant. Like, she unleashes the power and Agatha's like, you don't know what you're doing, and right. But I feel like we can slide right into this end that I've been really actually dreading.
Okay.
I've been dreading podcasting about this.
Because you don't want to cry on a podcast.
I'm already feeling, right. We talked really early on about how there was going to be this emotional end. Mm-hmm. So I was technically
prepared.
I was, because I'm like, of course there's going to be, it's going to be painful. But you know what really struck me? I was prepared in my head for a dramatic goodbye. A big kabloom goodbye.
Are you talking about from the children or
from all
Vision,
of it?
Or from everything?
Both.
Right.
I was prepared for her having to have this big emotional choice, like it
happens earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're collapsing.
Right, exactly. I was expecting that, and the calm, the quiet, them walking as a family in their big superhero costumes, just walking home and then turning into normal, and then tucking the children into bed while it's like.
Big day.
Yeah, while this wall of magic is coming towards them, and they know. It reminded me so much, and I'm going to cry again. This, you know, the bit in Titanic where the mom is tucking the kids into bed while the ship goes down.
The Irish mom.
The Irish mom is telling the Irish fairy tale to these children in bed as the ship is going down, because she knows they're all going to die, but her focus isn't on her fear and her pain. It's on comforting her children and keeping her children calm. And this was that. It was...
storm is coming.
Yeah. It was a mum and a dad so focused on keeping their children calm and not afraid, so that they wouldn't fear what the parents know are coming. Oh my god, I knew this would happen. It really fucking got me. I was like, they know what's going to happen to those kids, and they can't let the kids know, because they don't want the kids' last moments to be pain and fear. So they tuck them up, and they both get kisses and cuddles and told how much they're loved and how family is forever, and they say goodnight and just walk away when you know that everything in them is...
Yeah, Vision says, good night, chaps.
Yeah. Just so...
Just even the choice of the use of the word
it's so
chaps.
casual and chosedly, like, it's chosen calm. Like, it just got me. I just couldn't. And then they go downstairs, and honestly, watching that bloody wall of magic move towards the house while the kids are tucked up asleep in bed, and
because you know what it means too. Like, you know, it means that she goes back to being on her own in a little plot of land.
Mm.
And I'm glad we don't see them, like the children vanish, because that wouldn't be necessary, I don't think. Because we get it, like,
I agree. You don't need to see it happen to them, because watching it happen to Vision, but oh my god, honestly, it proper, and I was so prepared. I knew it would happen as soon as they started walking home.
yeah.
Right, I was like, oh no.
Well, because we're a family. We're that family. Like, we're not. Our children are similarly aged.
Yeah.
They're not more mature than that. We've, like.
Also,
all of their environments we're familiar with.
I'm a neurotic, anxious ma, and the idea of putting my children to bed and having them not wake up in the morning it haunts me. It's a torturous idea. It absolutely terrifies me that I could put them to bed and they won't wake up. Like, it's just horrifying. And that is something that she's facing. And
yeah, because it's so clear whilst they're being put to bed that
they know. She knows that that's the last she's going to see.
And I think they know. I think Vision knows too.
Yeah, Vision definitely knows. Because he says to Wanda before he evaporates, he says to her, like, we've said goodbye to each other before. Yeah. So there's no reason we won't say hello to each other again.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what. Like, I cried so much over this. It really just gets me, but it's so brilliant because she makes that choice. And not only her, but Vision too.
Yeah, and let's be honest, the boys aren't stupid.
They're not stupid. And there's a collective understanding of we have to... This is the right thing, and it hurts, and it sucks, and it means we don't exist anymore, but we don't matter as much as these people, and that is
the right thing.
That is heroism in, like, the self-sacrifice that goes on. It's incredible, and...
Well, yeah, because we're looking at it now. Like,
yeah. That wall of magic moving towards the window.
As they've finished tucking them into bed and they're standing at the door, they can see the wall of magic moving towards them. So it's this incredible pressure to feel the last gasps of this life that they're in.
It absolutely... I just think it's the most incredible, awful end.
But it was always on the cards.
Yeah, but we talked about it well early. However... Vision says there's no reason we can't say hello again. They also talk with the boys about how there'll always be a family, like...
family is forever.
Exactly, like, nothing will change family is forever. And I feel like when you combine that with that post-credit scene, you're being told something. Also, Vision unlocks the memories in White Vision.
Yes, and he says, I am Vision, and fucks off, and we never see him again.
And that means he is Vision's body and Vision's memories.
Yes.
He's not the artificially created Vision who was experienced Westview, but he's everything that came before.
Okay, so the fact that he flies off and abandons Wanda...
abandons his mission.
What do you mean?
His mission is to kill Vision.
Yeah. But if the Hex Vision sticks around to help, White Vision does not.
But White Vision respects, in my opinion, and I don't know, respects the fact that this is Hex Vision's
territory.
Yeah, literally. And he's like, no, this is your time with her. I'm not going to come along and be all like, I love you, pick me.
I don't know if I buy that. Because if it were me, I wouldn't be like, oh, I don't want to step on your toes. You sort out this potentially life or death situation for the woman I love and my children. That's fine.
Well, they're not his children because that
No,
was
but
in
they
Hex.
they are though, because we've had this whole conversation about the ships and the planks and the.
I agree, but his memories won't include.
No, but he doesn't
those.
say I'm Vision without those memories. He says I am Vision,
sure.
and I think he's not. I don't think he is Vision. I think that he thinks he is. I think that he thinks he is, but I don't think that. What I think is, I don't think that the White Vision is as skull-crushingly brutal as he was when he arrived in Westview, or as cold and heartless as he was when he was going to try and defeat and destroy the Vision. But I don't think he's this guy.
He doesn't have the humanity.
The man who we're watching Wanda say goodbye to right now. I don't think that's who he is, because for one thing, that's too easy.
No, I agree.
Wanda would go and find him, and we were like, great.
No, because
But he says, I am Vision, that's the guy. Right?
Yeah, but also, because my thoughts went to this, and I was like, he could then go to Wanda and be like, Wanda, it's me. I look a bit different, but it's me.
It's me.
But for her, she's like, no, it's not. And then imagine the pain of the Vision, right? New Vision. Who...
No, I think he's got all of the philosophy and the thought, but not the
soul.
Feeling.
That's probably better. It makes sense.
I think he's got his memory back, but I don't think he's
not going to be her Vision.
Not her Vision. And White Vision isn't her Vision.
Like, yeah, he's obviously different.
Like, he's vanishing now.
Oh, it's the most intensely, painfully, beautifully awful.
It's reminiscent of Becoming, right? The season 2 finale of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
When she chooses to sacrifice her love for the universe.
Her hair is even the same. It's red, but Buffy's is blonde, but her hair when she says goodbye is the same as Buffy's is. That's neither here nor there.
No, but it's noteworthy. It's interesting.
There's a lot of similarities. Like they hired Christoph Beck, who wrote the score.
Yeah, and it's so good. Right, we should talk about the post-credit scenes.
Let's do it.
Because we are running on real
I know
fucking long.
nothing about the Captain Marvel stuff. Like the.
So obviously is Skrull, Kree, Skrull, Scree.
Skrull. No, Scree. You made up.
Oh, I made up for my script. So Skrull. Okay, I was like, ooh, okay. So I was expecting bloody Captain Marvel to rock up when she was, you know what I mean? So, oh no, it's not.
But at the end of the Spider-Man film, the one with JKG, right?
Yeah.
So Nick Fury is in that film.
Yeah.
All the way through. But he's a bit bumbling and a bit of an idiot. And you're like, what the hell is wrong with Nick Fury? It turns out that he's a Skrull at the end.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Nick Fury is in his pajamas on a space station somewhere. Going like, fucking hell, this is a pain in the arse. I'm in space.
Is that the Far From Home?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one after Endgame. With
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal,
so Far From Home. Yeah.
Yeah. So Nick Fury is in space. I assume that the person who is in space
is Nick Fury. And Monica's gonna be.
She's gonna go up into space and
be indoctrinated into the Avengers.
Or just whatever Nick Fury's up to now, because the Avengers.
Yeah, he's kind of.
He's not really connected to the Avengers now.
It's changed. Yeah, and then we go to
Wungador.
We get Mirage Wanda sitting outside drinking a cup of tea and ambling in, and then badass Scarlet Witch with Agatha's book.
School Wanda.
Yeah. With the boys' voices.
Yes.
Which says that that's what she's working on. Family is forever.
Yes. So we are literally looking right now at the bit where the Scarlet Witch flies away from the blood and the blah. So in a few minutes it'll be on the screen. But yes. So first of all, we have to talk about the fucking mountain, right? Last week I kept saying Chthon. I've heard 1 million people since then, Podlevians, say Chthon.
Oh, is it Chthon?
So I'm going to just surrender and say Chthon. But
I like chiffon more. But
the Wasp said chiffon as a joke. and CHTHON,
Yeah,
I think it's, it's funnier if she's saying that chiffon becomes chiffon than Cuthon becomes chiffon.
Yeah, no,
Because
I
I'm like,
agree. I'm with you. Just keep going with your chiffon.
no, but I've heard a million people say Cuthon.
Well, twat them.
But I can't twat them. One of them is Kevin Smith.
Okay, my love of Kevin Smith aside, I will twat Kevin Smith.
No, don't do that.
Please.
No, you mustn't.
Oh.
But if in the Marvel cinema, if in the Multiverse of Madness or whatever it is, the new Doctor Strange
Doctor
movie,
Strange.
if they're like, Chthon is doing this, I'm going to be like, fucking is right, Chthon is doing this. But they won't. They'll say Chthon, because apparently I'm pretty sure it's Chthon. So, before I get lost...
Sorry, Kevin Smith, I will not twat you.
There you go. There you go, Kev Smith. So, I won't get lost talking about the pronunciation for a million years like I did last week, because I edited it, and I know how long that lasts.
Oh, well done.
So, Chthon.
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
Forget Chthon. She's reading The Darkhold, written by one Chthon. Right?
Yeah.
But she is learning as much as she can, as quickly as she can.
About chaos magic.
Well, not just chaos magic, but also
magic.
Who she is, magic. The magic that is very specific to her.
Yeah, because she said there's a whole page, like not
a whole
chapter dedicated to the Scarlet Witch.
Exactly, yeah. And she's on a 100% fact finding mission. So is it the case? Because so we see the Scarlet Witch sitting outside this little cabin at the bottom of Wungador, right? We see her in her pajamas, and then she walks in, and she's got the kettles whistling, and she's going to make a cup of tea.
She looks like me in the mornings. Jammies in a kettle.
Except more serene, because she's not being pestered by a million voices.
Because her children have been
zapped.
So
her children are all
serene.
In hell, or another dimension like hell. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, she's in her pajamas. She's like having a cup of tea or whatever. And then there's the other Wanda around the corner. So my first thought was the true Wanda is the one reading, and she's got little spheres like Doctor Strange. She's sitting in a kind of...
Or she's floating.
She's floating.
Floating over the book.
Yeah.
And the book's turned got magic going all around
I'm doing... Pavlovian, you can't see me, but I'm doing...
He is tentacling. His fingers are doing jazz hands. It's very impressive.
Right? You know what I'm saying, Pavlovian friends. So... travel the corridor.
Travel the corridor.
It's late in the podcast, we'll be fine. So yeah, I think that the real her is the one with the
magic.
With the magic book.
And the other one is the mirage to distract people.
Yeah, it's an illusion that is designed, so if Captain America lands and is like, Wanda, what are you doing? And then she's able to sort of get a bit of a warning before she has to stop studying. But it's also possible that the real her is the person in the pajamas, and that's her astral self, like Doctor Strange is.
Oh, yeah,
always like sitting there like, whoa, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that would make sense too. Like, I could get on with my life while part of me is doing this.
Exactly, yeah. So both of those things are possible. I don't know.
Okay, so. What did you like? What didn't you like? And what are thoughts and theories? Can I tell you something I didn't like?
Go on, yes,
I wanted more Darcy.
Well, there was only one Darcy, and it was in Joy Prison, and that's not a lot of Darcy.
Right, I understand why. Because
Chocker.
It's chocker. It's rammed. I mean, we're like 5 hours into this podcast by now.
Let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, right? And we've not covered everything. We've not covered every character.
For the children. What the fuck?
Like, what the fuck? And, yeah, I just feel like Darcy was a really good, important character. She's been one of my favourite characters.
Are you saying she was underserved?
I feel she was underserved.
Take that, Jacques Schaefer.
Right? I'm sorry, Jacques.
Oh, look, it's Wungador now on screen.
I feel like Darcy has been, in this series, she's been significant and important, and she has been all the way through, like, someone who you're meant to root for, And we love her because she's brilliant. I know you said last time there's not many, like, there are people who don't love Darcy.
Oh, yeah,
But they are, like, twats.
Yeah.
And I just feel...
No, I love Darcy. I think that ultimately if Jack Schaefer, good old Jackie...
I like, there's a reason she couldn't, because what the fuck? Like, she's driving there from so-and-so and she can't...
Well, yeah, like...
You can't show her driving. Like,
if you have more Darcy, you have to... For one thing,
sacrifice other stuff.
Well, first of all, yeah, you have to sacrifice other stuff, but also you potentially take away from some of the spontaneity of her arrival
I agree.
when she lands.
So I get it. I'm not actually criticising.
It's more just like, in your perfect world, you'd have a little more Darcy.
I'd have more Darcy.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
What I liked,
the
metaphysical conversation between the visions, my favourite thing.
I loved the visions fighting.
I also like the visions fighting.
I was so excited. I watched them bombing all over the place. You got Agatha and Scarlet Witch, like, throwing magic around.
When he says to himself, I'm not the real vision, I'm a conditional vision, and he's like, I request elaboration.
I loved that.
Oh my god. I feel like now I'm depicted on screen. For the first time.
Having lived with you for years and years, like, I forget how long we've been together. It's been a really long time. But yes, I agree.
Time flies. Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that I have listened to you talk about Yale and whatever the hell the philosophical metaflonksings are.
Metaflonksings.
Right? With a glass of wine in your hand. Many times in those many years.
I had another me, but who was like an evil me, I could convince to be less
Honestly,
evil. What a happy me I would be.
Like, oh look, that's John if he was shiny with a cape.
Like, let's talk about a thought experiment that's going to solve the problem between us, shall we?
Right? My only thing would be, I would be Darcy, but with, like, less good body, on the floor watching you talk to yourself, like, oh boy, I need a drink.
My thing would be that I wouldn't be able to remember the details of the thought experiment, so I'd be like, do you remember this? And then my other me would be like, not really. Like, I remember sort of, because we listened to that Yale thing, and it was Shelley Kagan, right? That was the professor's name. Yes, it was, yeah. And it was about metaphysics. It was about, like, identity, like,
which
what
when
am
your dad rocks up and your dad is like, John, tell me some more about this, and then your dad starts chiming in, and then I'm just surrounded by drunk Irishmen talking philosophy while I'm getting drunk.
Is there a better way to live?
To be fair, it's pretty good. It's a good way. So we need to carry on.
Thoughts and theories.
And okay, so stuff that was missing.
Who
is the philosopher? The physicist. Where does white vision go?
Okay, so these are reasonable questions, right?
Yeah.
First of all, the physicist, okay, the astrophysicist. It's not so much that we don't know, because maybe we do. Maybe we meet the astrophysicist, but they knew. That there was a Reed Richards sort of excitement brewing.
I agree.
And they capitalized on it without any intention, because this is not like a week by week thing where they were like, John Krasinski, can you show up?
Yeah.
And he said no.
I agree.
They knew.
Because the thing is, John Krasinski is incredibly popular. He is beloved.
And we're saying John Krasinski, but he is not confirmed to be Reed Richards.
Is he not?
No.
Oh my god, I thought he was.
No. Like... He is not at all. No one is confirmed to be a member of the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four is a huge deal.
Yeah,
No one is confirmed. It could be anyone. It could be a person of colour. It could be anyone at all.
That's really interesting, because everything I've seen, I'm not doing like a massive... I try to avoid...
It's always John Krasinski, but I agree. Because we try to avoid it.
I don't like doing massive, like, you know how Zeke, when he watches, like, he's talking about all the YouTube videos he's watched that tell you I don't like that. I like to kind of take it as it comes. But because everything that was, like, week by week episode responses was about John Krasinski, I was like, I just assumed
you thought it was a fact.
Yeah.
I think it is going to happen, but I'm pretty sure it's not a fact.
Oh my gosh.
But like it used to be not a fact that Sam Jackson was going to be Nick Fury.
Right, yeah.
But they made Nick Fury in the comic books look like Sam Jackson. And
as opposed to the Hoff.
As opposed to
David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff, thank you. Yeah, and then of course it was Sam Jackson. It almost certainly will be John Krasinski, but it might not. Podlevians
people
of the
have been
future.
Jim gifting all over the place.
Of course. And like in episode 7, the gift that I used to you earlier tonight, I'm not amused.
Yeah.
He was 100% being Jim Halpert.
Yeah. I feel like.
But having said that, like,
we don't know.
He was also being, what do you call him? The guy from Breaking Bad in Malcolm in the Middle the week before.
Oh,
I didn't know he was going to be so good with kids.
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah. Brian didn't know he was going to be so good with kids. Like that was apparently very Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, very.
I don't know because I never watched Malcolm in the Middle, but I've heard that was very much on.
Well, that's interesting because I just thought that was a
fact.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't like doing research. I don't like to find out more.
I don't either. And so, like,
I get them come up on my YouTube all the time. Watch this, and I'm like, nope. I want to just have it as it comes.
Podlovians, you may have responded to some of our theories, like, come on, you dickheads, you should know that that's not going to happen, or you should know that is going to happen. But we don't really know anything.
No, I actively avoid it. As I say, the reason I just assumed that Krasinski was Reed Richards was because
it seems like it's happening.
I like the episodic tweets I follow. I don't read the articles. What I do is just see people's reactions and talk about on Twitter. But, I talk about it with people. But
he's been the favourite for Reed Richards for a long time, and he looks perfect. Like, especially after he did the military show that he's in, where
Jack Ryan.
Right, where he sort of bulked up. When he's Jim Halpert, he's very
I agree. But Jack Ryan, he's all muscly. He's older than he was in the office. He's aged in a really good sort of to replace
to replace who?
What was the guy's name?
Oh, the guy from Ringer. I know what you're trying to say. You have lost your mind trying to say. Yes.
Griff.
Shall we find out? Podlovian friends.
Oh God!
Bear with us.
I'm being an absolute.
He also played William Wilberforce in a movie about the abolition of the slave trade.
Oh, come on, Judith. This is very stressful for me.
Ian Grufford.
There we go. It's spelled. It's like an.
It is spelled
Irishy. Griff. May I just say?
It looks more Welsh than Irish, but it might be Irish.
Welsh. But may I just say that the fact I was going Gruff.
He's from Cardiff, yeah.
There you go, Welsh. But I'm like, Gruff is reassuring to me that I'm not a complete knob.
Owen Grufford.
Admittedly, me going
I wonder how you say that name.
I don't know. Ian?
I'm going to guess Ian.
Ian?
It's Ian with an O in it.
Yeah.
So Ian with an O in it, Grufford.
Yeah.
Born on October 6, 1973
But I
in
am
Cardiff.
relieved that my random sounds that make it sound like I'm having like a stroke are not completely made up. I was on the right track.
Yes.
But he looked perfect for Reed Richards, in my opinion.
I think that current John Krasinski looks more perfect.
I agree. At the time, I thought he looked perfect. But I think current John Krasinski, because he's a bit buffer.
Well, also he's a bit taller and a little bit more. There's more in the eyes. I'm not criticizing Gruff.
I really liked his Reed Richards.
I like him in everything that I've ever seen him in. He's great as William Wilberforce in Amazing Grace, right? He is. He sings Amazing Grace, and it's powerful to watch. But
I also think that John Krasinski is lovely. And I like his wife, Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
Is she now Emily Krasinski? Or has she stayed Emily Blunt?
Podlevians, I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway, so we need to do more thoughts and theories because we have been talking for now 17 hours.
Okay, so Wanda is reading The Darkhold. That is a fact.
Yup.
The Darkhold was written by Chthon. I'm saying Chthon.
I'm going with you. Yeah.
Right?
Yup.
The father, if you like, of chaos magic itself. So this is where it's headed.
Yeah.
Chthon has to be, I'm going to say Chthon. If they start saying Chthon in the fucking Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm going to be so annoyed that I doubted myself. They'll say Chthon. Chthon.
Chiffon, yeah.
Chiffon. Good old Shiffy Shifts.
Yeah.
I also, Podlovians, I also watched Coming to America today whilst I was washing up.
Don't
and it is
talk
so
about that.
funny.
The Twitters don't agree.
Do the Twitters not like?
The Twitters do not like Coming
What
to
a
America.
surprise.
The Twitters...
Twitter, the self-righteous arbiter of everything self-righteous, doesn't like...
They don't like it.
Why not?
They think it's rubbish.
Well, Twitter can get to... I mean, unless you're on Twitter.
No, please, because I talk about this on the Twitters a lot.
I know, but, like, can't we just be nice?
Some people on Twitter suck.
And lots of people... I'm on Twitter and I like Coming to America. It's very funny.
I trust ya.
It is.
I trust ya. I did not see it. I was not washing up with you.
I laughed many times.
We have just one sink.
I laughed many times, Podlevian. So...
What has this got to do with it?
She's reading The Darkhold.
Is that in Coming to America?
Yes.
No. So what the bollocks is the connection here, Jonathan McKinney?
I watched it today.
Is that literally it? Okay, fair enough. Carry on.
So, she's reading The Darkhold and she's learning how to better be an evil witch.
Yarp.
And
I say yarp as if I'm actually in the Goonies, but I'm not.
Do you want thoughts and theories?
Yeah, crack it out.
I mean, we are at the end.
Yeah, I know.
I have a lot of questions, but also, okay, so thoughts and theories. I mean, I don't know.
Alright, go with questions.
What was For the Children about?
Yeah, I want to know.
We're never going to know. It was nothing. It was nothing.
I agree, because Dottie was built up, in my opinion. Like, we kept cutting to
Agnes
her.
was like, Dottie's the important one.
Yeah.
But she's not. She's not important at all.
Unless she is, and we aren't just getting it, but I agree.
We can't keep waiting for revelations after the TV show is finished.
I agree.
We have to accept that is what the TV show is.
Yeah, like Emma Caulfield now Ford is just
Sarah,
nobody.
With an 8-year-old kid.
Yeah.
She's not the important...
Powerful, she's not important, she is just...
Like, her being, like, portrayed that way by Agnes is fine, but For the Children stuff...
Yeah.
Like, obviously we get it. Like, Tommy and Billy, we wanted to get them into the MCU, but why was...
Like, it was before they were, like, even thought of.
Yeah.
It was
certainly before Wanda had thought of them.
Yeah, for the children.
For the children. And I thought there must be something going on with the children, but there is nothing going on with the children. And there's a few of these... Like, okay, so when Agnes... Because she's still Agnes then. When she's pointing her headlights out at the sword camp, I was hoping that we'd get some confirmation of what it was she was doing there. Because, okay, Podlevians, right? It might seem like nothing, but think about it. If you're Agatha Harkness, your time isn't nothing. Like, your time matters, and you sit in a car for hours and hours and hours, who knows how long, at the edge of town.
Waiting Vision.
That Vision's going to come and talk to you. And he might not. He might literally never do that. Why does Agatha do that? Because she's not.
She doesn't want to leave because she wants to get one, like, she wants to figure out what Wanda's doing. Like, she's not trapped.
She's not trapped. She didn't get lost looking for the town square like she says she did to Vision. She drove out there with full consciousness.
Intending to con Vision.
Why?
But...
Like, the only idea that makes sense to me is that she wanted him out of the way, which makes sense because when he's trying to get back, she's throwing obstacles in front of him. But what if he'd never been like, oh, I'm going to go looking for crime? What if he was just hanging out with Wanda? Is Agnes sitting there at the edge of town Like, oh, I feel like a right dickhead now because I'm sat here pointing my headlights into the sword camp and Vision's just doing trick or treat with Wanda.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
she got lucky that he was snooping and investigating.
Snooper's gonna snoop.
Snooper's gonna snoop, but she got lucky that he was investigating because if he hadn't been,
then she'd have just sat there.
She'd have been sat there and then she'd have driven around and gone, well, this was a waste of time.
Yeah. She'd been going out there every night. Like,
exactly.
Like, one night, Vision will decide to come this direction.
And, like, is it worth it? Is it worth the effort every night to get Vision to walk out of town and meet the sword-based people? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, I think that's a fair point.
It makes sense in the storytelling point of view. Like, you want, as a storyteller, for Vision to meet Agnes and go that way. And, like, yeah, you can do the song, It Was Agatha All Along, and then say that she was aware at the time. But what did she want? Why was she there?
Yeah.
Why was she there?
I agree.
There is not, and this TV show has now begun and ended without explaining what she was doing there. And that, to me, is not tight storytelling.
I agree. I think that is left flapping in the air along with the For the Children.
For the Children, what the hell that was about with the, pointing the headlights at the sword camp. And other things like that. There's a few things like that. Like the, it's not quite the same when I talk about the criticism of it being how Agatha explains to Wanda how she can defeat her when they both voluntarily leave the space where Agatha is secure. But these are all issues with the storytelling. And I think now the show has ended. Like, these are things that we've wondered about and we don't have an answer.
And we probably won't.
We'll never have an answer, no.
They'll just sort of go into the breeze and...
I think what we're seeing is it was a bit more like Lost than we thought it would be. Because some of this stuff was just for the titillation.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I love Lost. And I fucking love this TV show.
Lost and WandaVision. Well, Lost is just about titillation, right? Like,
it's not just.
Well, no, but it's primarily. Like, the primary function is what can we hook them with to get them to want to watch the next one. And I think WandaVision is more like that than I thought it was.
No, I agree. I think there is some of that. However, I still think it's fucking brilliant.
Well, of course, because, it's like Lost.
Okay, so here's my question then. Yes. Before we, right. We've been breaking it to Rosie, the 8-year-old, that there won't be a season 2 of WandaVision. Because they can't do WandaVision TV show sitcom WandaVision. Right?
WandaVision.
Right? A few people on the old Twitter-sphere are saying that it is set up for season 2 of WandaVision.
Okay.
Do you think there will be a season 2 of WandaVision?
Honestly, no, I don't.
See, I don't, right? But there are a lot of people saying there will.
Right, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a season 2. But Marvel's not going to do, television like we've seen it before. It's going to be what serves the greater
I agree.
narrative.
I feel like if this was the first in a actual TV series, then yes, of course there'd be a season 2. They've set it up for a season. It's been a huge hit. Yeah, it's been a huge hit, and they've set it up for a season 2. However, this isn't a TV series. This is an installment in a greater picture. Yeah. And so this is essentially like a very long movie. Yeah, I agree. That's what I think. So I don't think there'll be a season 2.
I wouldn't even say series 2 or season 2. I wouldn't say that. I would say there might be another
Wanda TV show.
Another TV show set with these characters, because Vision, he says, I am Vision, and he flies off.
Yeah.
We've discussed what that means.
But it wouldn't be WandaVision.
It might be called WandaVision Season 2, but it won't be like this.
Yeah.
And it probably won't be called that. Because, again, Disney Plus, they don't need... The MCU and Disney Plus don't need to do television like television's been done in Hollywood for the last 50 years. They don't need to do it.
I agree.
Because they've shown that with this. If the pilot of WandaVision, and it's not a pilot, but if the first episode of WandaVision was the thing they made to convince people to invest,
It wouldn't work.
They wouldn't have got investment.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. They
I
only
agree. Because the first episode to the last episode is like entirely different.
Yeah.
Everything, literally everything about it is different.
It is all connected by logic, but you don't get that buy-in unless it's the MCU to start with.
I agree.
Like, so you don't get, if you're Jack Schaefer, you don't get to go and say, well, I've got this idea for this 9-episode TV show, and the first episode is like, it's a sitcom like Mary Tyler Moore and Dick Van Dyke, and then by the end of the episode, you know nothing. Like, any producer in Hollywood's going to be like, fuck off.
Go away.
We don't want this at all. Because we got no confidence in you to deliver anything. But Marvel can say, like, you'll stick around, audience, because you want what we are doing.
You know that by the end, we're going to tie all, like, not all, but when I say all these threads, I don't mean every thread of the thing. I mean all the threads they tie together. They bring all these characters which you've invested in and watched, and they're gonna literally like bang them together in the town square. And
like they know how to put a story together. Yeah,
and they do it brilliantly. And yeah, I feel like next week we can do it'll probably be a much shorter because
you say that
we've been talking for now 24 hours.
Yes, we've been talking for 4,000 years.
4,000 years about WandaVision.
You say that we will be quicker next week.
We probably won't be. We'll get overexcited.
Like, I plan to watch the whole series again.
And yeah, we need to talk about the adverts.
The advert? Well, there's a whole load of stuff that we can get into.
Okay, so, Jonathan.
Calling it a day now, are we?
Yes.
At a nice... Oh, look! We're about to reach 2 hours.
Oh my god, we're mental.
I mean, I'm going to edit this, but when I'm saying this, it won't be quite 2 hours.
Oh, that's scared. But anyway, Podlovians, thank you for being with us for our WandaVision journey. And
Podlovians, please come and talk to us. If you are one of the many Podlovians that exist.
I honestly, because I've been chatting with people on the Twitters, the Twitters you've been slamming about it, and...
Have I been slamming the Twitters?
You've been slamming the Twitters, but not the people who I talk to about this on the Twitters.
It's a relief. I mean, they are all terrible people.
Shut up! Oh my god!
I mean, I love them.
So I put in the description of this podcast there are links to all the shiz. What is your overwhelming opinion of WandaVision? Were you like satisfied, disappointed, excited? Did you want more? Did everything happen how you wanted it to? Come and talk to us because it's over now and I'm not ready for it to be over and I want to talk about it more. So come talk to me.
It must have been love.
But it's over now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And just go to sirenstories.co.uk and find everything that is happening because it is a globally excellent, award-winning sitch.
Podlovians, did you ever see a man say goodbye to a shoe?
Oh, God. Thank you very much for listening, and we will be back, next week for a different...
No one ever says Italy.
Lord. Goodbye, pods.
Lobex Corporation.
Jesus.
Did you want to say anything before we properly sign off?
No. You say
bombard this with Simpsons jokes.
Fine.
Okay. Toodle-oo.
Toodle-oo.